This is the house where I used to spend my holidays as a child. Before they died, my grandparents lived here with their various pets and some other very unusual visitors. My Granny Ruth used to tell me her house was haunted. She'd tell me about maids walking through her bedroom and children playing games at night. She said the ghosts were friendly, but I wasn't convinced. I was terrified that I too might see something supernatural, but I never did. Until one dark night, my grandparents had to take their dying cat to an emergency vet, and I was left alone in the house. I lay in bed shivering in fear, listening to the wind rattling the windows and doors. And then I heard a sound I'll never forget. The sound of footsteps in the upstairs landing heading towards my bedroom. I was convinced a ghost was going to come through my door and kill me. I hid under the covers waiting for the door to open. But then the footsteps stopped and no one came in. I was saved. But ever since that night I've wondered, what exactly did I hear? Was it my brain playing tricks on me? Or was it one of the ghosts my granny talked about? I've never seen or heard anything since. But I wonder, do ghosts exist? And did one come to my door that night? My name is Guy Gilbert, and I've made a career directing documentaries for television. But there's one subject I've never filmed that I've always wanted to, because of what happened to me as a child. I decided to find out more about ghosts by following two paranormal investigators from the Bristol area.
These need changing.
Which ones?
These need new batteries, yeah.
Colin and Corinne are getting ready for an investigation with members of the public at a haunted inn. They've got loads of high-tech equipment.
That is what we call a handheld RAM. It's a spirit pod.
A spirit pod?
Yeah, what it's called, spirit pod. It's basically a RAM. For this to activate, you have to turn it on, you have to leave it, and what you're trying to do is to encourage a spirit or a manifestant to come forward, and as you notice, as I'm going closer to the aerial, the lights are starting to come on.
Oh,
and
does that mean there's a spirit?
That would mean that there's something interfering with the aerial.
Sorry, what's this one?
That's a static detector.
It's a static alarm.
Do ghosts have static?
Well, use the question, what is a ghost made of? What is a ghost made of? Some people hold the form that spirits could be static electricity. Some believe that there's something else. I mean, who knows what a spirit is made up of?
We head down to an historic inn in Cornwall that years ago was notorious for housing smugglers and is also famous for being haunted.
Now, my first ever apparition was 12 years ago. It was here, of a little girl with blonde curly hair who is seen all round the Jamaica Inn. Also one night, myself and Colin were sat here in the dark, and underneath the display there, I saw a pair of little legs running.
Yes,
Remember that?
yeah.
Little black legs just running across. And
Where?
Just underneath
Just
where
under
the
the
two stools
cabinet.
are,
Yeah.
You saw
underneath
some
the
little
cabinet.
legs.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
as if
like
there
a
was somebody had
child.
run underneath. That was a bit freaky because we were
That
both
was
sat
right
here
at the
and we
beginning.
both looked at one another and said, did we see what we just saw down there?
At Jamaica Inn, spirits regularly like to play games on guests.
When we're walking around the museum or when we're doing an investigation, we are always listening for the unusual. So we're not listening for car knocks, we're looking for something that stands out. Did you hear the knock? on there then when
Oh,
I
I
tapped.
did hear that.
Yeah, did you hear that?
Where
I
was
tapped that. That
That's
was on there.
that
then.
one.
So I heard a tap.
Tommy, Elizabeth, if you can hear and see us, my darling, you know the tapping game. Could you come and start tapping? Because there's a gentleman here. It's so lovely to meet you.
Tommy and Jane.
Two of the children, Tommy and Elizabeth.
Tommy and Elizabeth.
It's not going to happen now, see.
Never
See,
gonna
this
do it
is
on
the thing.
command.
It's not always going to happen on command.
Oh. Do you think I'm putting them off?
No. This is nothing unusual for us. We could be in here for an hour calling out and not really have anything, and then we'll go to leave, and you will hear sounds, and you think, well, why couldn't you have done that when I was in there earlier on?
Later in the evening, guests arrive and the investigation begins.
Ring a roses, a pocket full of posies, a tissue, we all fall down.
Toys are put out to tempt Tommy and Elizabeth.
We've come to play with you. Are you going to come and play with us? Polly put the kettle on, Polly put the kettle on, Polly put the kettle on, we'll all have tea.
Jamaica Inn's bedrooms are well known for being haunted, so more teams are trying up there.
Can you turn those lights red for us?
You did just now.
Make them go
That's
red.
it.
Go on.
Excellent.
More.
Keep it right up there. Keep the red one
More.
alight. Go on, keep it alight.
Can you light up?
Yes!
well done.
In a bedroom next door, more activity has occurred.
Or tap?
Elizabeth, play with Lisa's hair again. She liked that.
No, she didn't like it. She's joking.
Did someone pull your hair?
Yeah, only slightly. It was only a little, like a little
One
tug.
strander.
Yeah,
It's
like
when
a
you were
one.
playing with her toys,
It's
isn't it?
because I was taking all the toys out and playing with them.
So who did it?
Well, we think it was Elizabeth.
Yeah.
At the end of the evening, some spirit pods have beeped, but not much else has happened. But Colin and Corinne promised me I would experience something if I persevered. They also told me to get in touch with Rachel, who's seen many ghosts, including one in a local wood.
Well, I can tell you precisely. Christmas Eve 2006 at approximately 3:15 in the afternoon, I saw an apparition of a monk whilst out walking the dog.
Here?
Here,
Whereabouts?
just up here.
Just up here. Show me.
Just up here. I turned and there was a monk standing here.
So it was definitely a ghost, not a real monk.
It was definitely an apparition of some description, yes.
Were you scared?
No, surprisingly enough. I was amazed.
And did you ever see him again?
No, I came down for several years afterwards, the same time, 3:15, Christmas Eve, on the same day, and even when it obviously wasn't Christmas Eve, but I've never seen him.
Rachel started seeing ghosts as a child, but her family didn't believe her.
I was taken to the doctors because I was seeing things, apparently. So my parents thought that I was hallucinating. I was bullied. I was mad, and it's quite horrible when you're a child to be labelled like that, especially when you're telling the truth.
I wonder if there was an event that might have triggered Rachel seeing ghosts. So when did you first see a ghost?
When I was approximately 6 years old.
Wow.
Not long after my brother had died. And that seemed to be the catalyst for it.
Why do you think that was?
Possibly because I was vulnerable, I was young, the spirit that I saw wasn't particularly friendly. And I think maybe it saw me as an easy target.
Rachel says I can film her on our next investigation. In the meantime, I'm called out for another ghost hunt with Colin and Corinne. This time at an old disused Victorian mill.
Can you tell me if you can hear my voice up here calling out to any spirits, past and present?
The investigators are using a technique called EVP, where a blindfolded colleague listens to radio waves which may be being used by spirits. He then calls out what he hears.
You. Me. Not sure.
Corinne thinks they may be channeling the Victorian owner of the mill.
You were a very clever person. You designed a unique way to do zinc smelting, didn't you?
We're stood up. What do you want us to do now? Help.
It's getting interesting.
Yeah, some of the responses for
Yeah.
sure.
Who are you talking to?
Tragic.
Oh, because he was made bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's the gentleman who actually built.
Sorry.
What?
I just had a real cold shiver go right through, like somebody's just walked right through my body.
It's freezing.
Yeah, it's absolute. My back is. That's why. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to make that noise, but that took me by real surprise. And my back is freezing. It's like ice cubes.
That's not like you.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you? Did you just walk through me? Who? Oh, sorry, getting a bit freaked out.
Downstairs, a colleague, Rachel, has sensed the presence of a female worker.
I feel quite shaky while I'm stood here. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. My heart is racing. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here.
Rachel is what's called a medium and can channel the energy of spirits.
I'm getting a female energy here, and it's almost like I'm really scared. I almost feel like I'm trapped here. It's getting quite emotional.
Rachel, are you okay?
Do you want to go in with it, Carl? Just explain what you're doing.
Can you shut yourself down a little bit just to give you a break? Yeah? I'm going to take her out. Rachel, if you can come with me, lovely. Come with me, darling. Come on. You get somebody assistance, please.
Then another spirit, maybe the former owner of the mill, tries to take over Rachel.
It's all right, it's all right. It's all right. We don't give you permission to go. It's all right. Go and leave.
It's all right. There we go.
Step well back.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Step well back. Still there.
Go away.
Is it behind me?
Yeah.
Told you.
You'll be burned. I swear to God, I will burn you.
What I witnessed was very dramatic, but not exactly proof ghosts exist. But then Colin and Corinne tell me they found the proof I've been looking for on a previous investigation.
Any spirits that want to come forward?
Sorry, someone touched me out.
Now, basically, that wasn't just like one flick. It was like somebody going like that, flicking two bits of hair.
Sorry, someone touched me out.
And I've got to be quite honest. I've got to say, as I've said, I think that was one of the best bits that I've seen.
But when we went back,
Yeah.
the people that were jumping up and down next to her, blowing,
Yeah.
trying to recreate that one part of her hair that flipped, we made her wear exactly the same, we put her in the same position. So, you know, we went through as much of the debunking side as we could, but we could not recreate that happened.
Again. It's impressive. It is impressive.
You
I'm
think
jealous.
it's the spirit doing that?
What else could have happened? How could you explain it? That's the best part about it is. How can you explain it? And we have tried to explain it away and we just can't.
Is this footage really proof that ghosts exist? Or am I being tricked here? I need to see an expert about this. I decide to go and see the most famous ghost hunter in the land, Richard Felix. He's made hundreds of ghost shows for TV over the years.
Probably been in more haunted locations than most people on the planet.
Richard is the owner of an ancient jail in Derby that he says is haunted.
I was in here on the phone talking to a guy from Derby City Council, not thinking ghosts or anything else, when this grey hazy shape of a person glided here down this corridor past this cut-out aperture window here. Now I'm talking as long as it took for this figure to glide past like this. I'm staring, look at it, until it gets, of course I lose it then, because of this pillar here. And luckily I knew the guy on the phone from this council. I said, I've just seen a bloody ghost. He said, don't be so daft. I said, I'm not kidding, mate.
I wonder what Richard thinks of the footage of the lady's hair being flicked. Is it by a ghost?
Very good. But that doesn't prove it's a ghost. Ghost is just a word that describes something that we don't understand, that we're actually frightened of. Because most people run away when that happened. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a good one. I've seen lots, but it's not proof that there are ghosts, because there is no proof. But I know there are ghosts, whatever they are, but I still can't prove it.
Do some people fake it?
Yes. Oh, of course they do. Yes.
Do they?
People do fake it, there's no doubt about it.
So some ghost hunters fake it?
Some ghost hunters fake it. Some mediums fake it. Some members of the public fake it. Some of them are overtired. Some of them are drunk. Some of them are mistaken. Some of them are making it up. Some of them are genuine. No, because I can assure you that there's something in it. There's definitely something in it. The accounts, I don't call them stories, I call them accounts. So many accounts from Joe Public that I've spoken to over the years that I know that it's real. I know that there's something in it.
Richard tells me he first became fascinated by ghosts when as a child he was taunted by some bullies.
They used to tell, I was obviously gullible, used to tell me that when I went home, went to bed, the green ghost would get me. They also used to lock me in their garage. I can see myself now banging on the doors, let me out, I want to go home. I want mum and dad. No, you can't go home, your mum and dad are dead. And you're going to stay in this garage overnight.
That's pretty brutal.
Well, it was. And it had a big effect. And I'm not talking frightened, I'm talking terrified. I mean, I didn't go upstairs to the toilet until I was 14 alone. I had to be escorted by mum or dad. Honestly, this is real. This is not...
So this is like serious.
Oh, it was serious.
Trauma.
Yeah, I need psychiatric help, I'm telling you. I tell you, this is how bad it was, right? The ritual every night, the fear of going to bed, had to have the light on, had to have the landing light on. Mother would be, and don't forget, this is from 4 years of age onwards. Story, then down she went, and the first thing, tell me the time when you get downstairs, leave the door open. Soon as she was gone, and she'd shouted what time it was, that was me under the bedclothes. Holding the bedclothes down with my head to stop whatever was going to be coming in the room from pulling the sheets off me. Fingers crossed, and then counting to 60 in my head before feigning deep sleep. Because I thought that if I was asleep, or the ghost thought I was asleep, it still gets me now, ghost thought I was asleep, then it wouldn't come and get me. This is serious stuff, I tell you. And it's still there.
So this is why you're obsessed with ghosts?
I think it must be. This is nonsense, but it's real. And I still have it to this day. Perhaps that's
So
what I...
especially you had this childhood trauma.
Yeah, yes, basically.
And you spent your adult life trying to overcome it.
Yeah, still, at my age. Would you believe?
Richard's childhood trauma sounds similar to mine. I too was terrified, lying in bed at night thinking a ghost was going to come and get me. I wonder if others see spirits after experiencing trauma. I go and see Corinne. She told me previously the death of her father sparked an interest in the supernatural.
I had this on the back of the funeral car because we both have a very dark sense of humour. So as we were following him in the funeral car, instead of crying, you were laughing because looking at his funny expression. Yes, he was quite a man.
Were you very upset when he died?
Absolutely devastated. It took 3 years before you wouldn't cry when you said his name.
Really?
Oh yeah, because the first time you experience proper grief, it is overwhelming, and I understand it why people still talk about a loved one from 30, 50 years ago. Oh, God, no, the stairs kill me.
Corinne tells me she spent years trying to summon her father's presence.
So I've had one instance that I think may be something. I was sat at my desk one night crying, watching old shows on YouTube that we used to watch together, and I felt an imprint of a hand rest on my head for about 7 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that was your father?
I don't know, because my head was telling me that's grief. My heart was saying that's my dad.
I think I'm starting to get somewhere. Maybe trauma can make people see ghosts. I go to see Rachel, whose brother's death seemed to coincide with her seeing spirits. Is it possible that trauma can trigger your brain to...
Oh, most definitely, I think. And I think trauma can trigger... it's almost, I suppose, like unlocking a door.
So you're open, though, to the idea you might have been imagining it?
No, I wasn't. I think that's completely different.
Or your brain was making you see it?
I think your brain allows you to see it.
Ah. So I heard something I thought was a ghost when I was traumatised.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if my brain was in trauma and made something happen. I don't know. Or you're saying it was there anyway?
It could be both. I honestly believe that when it comes to the paranormal and to the spirit world, I don't think there is a single box that you can tick.
Rachel tells me she's doing an investigation at an old abandoned Victorian school that's rumoured to be haunted.
Calling out to the spirits of the George Jarvis School.
Corinne is also helping out with their friend Kim to contact the dead via a Ouija board.
Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Something moved behind us.
It sounded a bit like a shuffle or a
Drag.
drag, yeah.
Well, that was a
You
definite
hear that?
knock behind you.
Yeah. Hello.
Can you tap on the table again, please?
What was that?
I don't know.
It's not me.
Not me.
No, not me
I
either.
haven't got my feet or hands near anything.
I've got one. I'll put this hand up here.
That was a big tap. The school is in an area where many US servicemen and women worked during the Second World War. Rachel wonders if the strange taps are coming from someone connected to this era.
Are you American? Wonderful, sir. Ma'am, welcome.
There have long been rumours that some of the servicewomen were subjected to sexual abuse.
Were the rumours that went on here, well, that we heard went on, were they true?
How many was that?
Bang, bang,
Bang,
bang.
bang.
That was a hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Were you involved in any of it, either willingly or unwillingly? Were you involved unwillingly? Yes. I'm really sorry.
You're really delicate now, don't we?
I'm really sorry. Yeah, I'm speechless with sadness. I'm so sorry.
Can I ask, why are you here? Did you die here?
Was that the cause of your demise?
God.
I've gone cold. I've gone absolutely freezing.
Oh, it's made me go all like, I don't even know what.
So was your death recorded as an accident? Or was your death recorded as suicide? Suicide.
Right.
Whoa.
So this gives us somewhere to work on.
Yeah.
That's me.
Okay. It's such an honour to meet you. I feel quite emotional.
I do.
That was a...
That sunlight is coming behind that wall.
Yeah.
I better
And
check.
again.
I need to check there's no one there.
Okay.
We've never had anything like this, guys.
Not
for
this.
years.
Yeah, no, I need to check this. There's not someone
Yeah.
scamming us here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go next door.
Okay.
Hello, is anyone there? Is anyone here? Is anyone there? I check to see if someone is making tapping noises. But I can see no one.
We're all a bit emotional actually after speaking to you. So it has been beyond a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully we'll speak with you again. So can I say goodbye?
Karen, what was that amazing?
Well, you know my scepticism with everything, but I cannot explain this at the moment, so I feel very emotional, as do Rachel and Kimmers. This is what we strive to try and prove, and to me, I'm just flabbergasted. I mean, look at Rachel.
I'm blown away.
Why? Do you think that would prove ghosts exist?
How else would it be explained?
What do you think? Do you think it would prove it?
Does it prove that? Yes, in my book.
I don't know how I could explain it in my logical brain if it wasn't somebody communicating that to us that had once been here.
This is, as investigators, this is what we aim for. It's trying to get intelligent communication of some shape or form. Yeah. And if nothing else happens, we go away with wonder, disbelief, and oh my God, what a day.
I'm dumbfounded. Was someone tricking me? Or do ghosts really exist after all? I'm not sure. Then Corinne has an idea. Why not conduct my own investigation at the house where I first heard those ghostly footsteps?
I would be interested to see your reactions when we go back to your granny's house.
Why?
Because this is You're going back to the place where you experienced something that stayed with you all your life. So it must have had a big impact.
Right, Joe, that was a long journey.
My grandparents are no longer alive, but the house now belongs to my father, Peter, who's staying there with my brother, Alex.
Nice to see you. I've heard a lot about you.
I'm Colin.
Colin.
Peter gives the paranormal investigators a tour of the house.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
Queen Anne came along. Here's my mother. This is Ruth. So we were talking about my mother.
By the stairs.
By the stairs. And she used to love coming to this house.
There is a lady present in this room.
Oh, really?
A very dominant presence in this room. Yeah.
Can you describe her? It's Ruth. Then you're seeing.
Yes. So it's your gran. Your gran.
Is it?
Yeah, it is your gran. Not the great gran, but
Ruth.
your mum.
My mother,
Your mum.
his
Yeah.
granny.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's basically she was a character because she's looked at me and she winked and then she went shh.
The first member of the family to experience seeing ghosts in the house was my father's grandmother, Flora.
There she is. That's my granny Flora.
Oh, I see.
Well, she was originally Flora Middleton. She was Scottish, so she's the one who saw.
She's the
First
one that saw the ghost.
Well, yes, and so those are her pets.
Ah.
The upstairs hallway was where I thought I first heard those ghostly footsteps all those years ago.
This hallway's very heavy, and when we say heavy, it's heavy in atmosphere, and you can hear my breathing. So I think if we put them line of sensors, we might actually get it go dun 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 dun.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So this is where this is the bedroom of my granny and grandpa.
Yeah.
Flora and Benjamin Nash, and it was Flora that I think who first saw, experienced something, here in this room.
Yeah.
Female and benign.
Oh yeah.
No fear or anything
they are.
untoward
Most of them,
associated.
yeah. So is this where you heard something?
Yes.
Okay, and you were in this room, and was it out on the landing?
Yes.
And you distinctly heard footsteps?
Yes.
But you reckon they stopped by your door?
Yeah, they didn't come in the door.
Yeah, that's the bit I wouldn't like.
I think that's lovely.
No, wouldn't like that bit, thank you. And you froze. What did you do? What did you do?
I actually hid under the...
Under the bedclothes? Yeah, I should imagine so. And stayed for quite a while?
Well, I didn't move for hours.
Yeah.
Very scared.
I'm sure. But Guy, you're still. You were talking earlier to me about the possibility of Paddy.
Yes. Now, what I heard, I assumed was Paddy, who's out here. Who's there? Look, Paddy's Mount.
Paddy's Mount is the grave of an Irishman who died over 100 years ago and is buried in the local field. When I heard the footsteps at night all those years ago, I thought it might be him coming to get me.
We always talked about Paddy
And knowing that he died here.
Yeah. So I assumed it was a male, even though my granny saw women. I suppose I was more scared it might be a man. Is that why?
Yeah, you would. Well, every every child, I think, would be more frightened of seeing a ghostly man.
Yeah.
I don't know why, than a ghostly woman.
But it's because
think
it's
Mother-
become a folklore.
Yeah.
So you're naturally going to think if there's a ghost, it's going to be that person.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's
That's the other
grown
thing.
into his own.
You knew about Paddy, and so you may well have thought it was Paddy.
I was scared of Paddy.
Yeah. So that's why you thought it was Paddy. I can understand. So that was Paddy to you,
Yes.
walking down the landing to get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Richard, I keep thinking, because I was really scared, I kind of imagined it. My brain made me think I heard stuff.
Oh, well, the neuroscientist is the guy to tell us about that, isn't he? Do you think that...
My father, Peter, is a neuroscientist. He thinks people seeing ghosts is a dysfunction of the brain.
There's something that people see, something that I saw that I can only describe as look like a ghost. It's as simple as that. And I've ticked every normal box I can imagine to try and disprove it.
No, but surely it could just be that your brain created that.
Do you think that it's...
Why have I not experienced
it depends. I mean,
Do you think I imagined these footsteps? Did my brain make it up?
Well, I think that's possible.
But did his grandmother and his great-grandmother do the same thing?
Well, obviously,
hell of a coincidence.
Well, you say a coincidence, but in another way it's not, because obviously my mother knew about her mother's experience, and that...
So that was in her mind?
That was or had been in her mind, and that could have led to creation in her mind.
Yeah.
I'm sure neither of them were lying in any way.
No, of course not.
They weren't making anything up, but people do experience things which they don't normally see.
No.
The plan is tonight to hold an experiment to find out if I really did hear a ghost as a child. But before that, Richard wants to know if the house is actually haunted. He's brought with him a very special table.
What's the purpose of this?
Well, it's a form of communication with the spirit world, basically. And all it can do is answer yes or no. Then I ask you, first of all, just to move the table slightly. Move it to let us know that you're here and that you're happy with us and happy to talk to us.
Hello.
Yes, OK. If that's you, fantastic. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that. I'm not going to embarrass you, but I need to know roughly your age. Are you a woman? Are you over 21 years? Are you under 12?
Didn't expect that.
No, OK, my love, that's absolutely fantastic. Don't stay with us, darling, that's absolutely fine. Do you live here, my love? Do you live here in this lovely house? OK. Are you happy here in this house, this lovely house that you're in? Yes? Oh, God, that's all that matters, isn't it? Do you play on the stairs, the old part of the house?
Yeah.
Nadlove, thank you so much for talking to us. That was really wonderful, darling. Would you return to your realm, my love, now? Thank you so much. Go with our blessing, and may your God go with you, my love. I don't know. Come on.
Wait and see.
What's that all about? Nervous energy? It's not on wheels. It's not battery operated. I love it.
I love the scientists coming right in.
Yeah, it's absolutely nothing but an old antique table. No, they don't move.
Is it something paranormal, do you think?
Well, obviously, as we've been talking about, these things can be still paranormal things can be constructs of our brains.
Well, that's not a construct of your brain.
I think it can be. I think it could be nervous energy from the brain down through the arm into the nervous. Because what does paranormal mean? Para is the Latin for running alongside, so it's running alongside the normal.
No, well, I think that's right. I mean, you say running alongside normal, and we have these different modes of operation of our brain.
Yes, exactly.
And we've got what we call our normal modes, and we've got the ones we don't understand.
And that could be, or it could be that little girl that may just happen to haunt the place. I don't know. Of course I don't know. I wish I could prove it, and we can't prove it, because unfortunately there is no proof yet. But, you know, we're working on it. I think that's the only thing I can say, to try and find out what on earth it's all about.
Later that night, the investigators prepare for the experiment by going to the hallway that I believed was haunted.
What are you doing? We've put a line of these devices, sensor lights, which if you walk past, they go off.
And if there's any movement, then they will alarm. So they're not affected by anything except movement.
Can you walk down it just to prove that it makes a noise?
The other side, Corinne. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
The plan is for me to sit in a hallway blindfolded, while Richard tries to make whoever visited me as a child come back again.
Is there a spirit with us here now? Especially the spirit that was with Guy the night that he was here alone? Did that go off, Guy?
Did one go off, Guy?
Yes.
Never.
The sensor's gone off, and that means there's someone there in the corridor with him, yeah? Make the light go off again.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Is it Gran?
Richard's theory is that it was my great-grandmother who came to visit me that night, and she returned again.
You're not my great-granny, but great-granny. I'm sure that Guy thanks you from the bottom of his heart, because we now know that it wasn't Paddy. And we know, my love, that you were here showing the love of a grandma when Guy needed you. He was here alone, frightened of what he thought was a ghost called Paddy. And you came to him. You came along the landing, as a grandma would do, and stood at the door. You didn't go in, because for all you knew he was asleep, but you stood at that door listening, just to be there, just to protect him, just in case. My darling, if that was you, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. You can return to your realm now, my love, and go with our blessing. Thank you.
Bye. That was crazy.
Wow,
How did you
incredible.
feel?
I'm really quite shaken by that.
At the end of the experiment, the motion sensors had gone off 3 times.
So that was quite extraordinary. Do you think it was great granny?
I'm convinced it was great granny. Yeah, because I know how many times grandparents visit their grandchildren. I know it. I really do know it. I'm really very convinced about that as well. Very convinced. It was very, very good.
You cannot prove anything that was paranormal. What you take from it is comfort that maybe that was your great granny, and she's just letting you know that there's nothing to be scared of. That was me. I'm still here. There's nothing to be frightened of in the dark anymore.
Absolutely.
It was magical.
Absolutely incredible. And the number of times the sensors went off, that was not coincidence.
And we said, are you moving? I'm not moving. And it was...
You know how sceptical I am. But that's just beyond anything. It's as good as I've seen.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
True or not, for me, it felt so emotional and so loving that you could just sit here and just cry And that's the emotion, that feeling of love and protection.
Those not REM pods, those sensors couldn't go off on their own. There had to be an energy there to do it.
Do you think we've just proven that ghosts exist?
Let me say this, that was pretty close.
I've reached the end of my journey to find out what I heard in my granny's house as a child. My father thinks it was a dysfunction of my brain, maybe brought on by stress. But Richard and Corinne think it was my great-grandmother who came to see me that night. I'm still not really sure, but all I do know is now I can walk along the hallway with a little less fear in my step.